Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Someone's going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Somebody's going to steal the Declaration of Independence tonight.
Templar is the treasure of all treasures. Oh, I didn't know that. Really? How's this lie on your cage?
So what's going on, guys? What's
Not
new?
much.
You,
Not much, just talking to you guys.
yeah. Is that all?
Well, right now.
We got 3 million in the chat right now.
Wow.
3 million.
So
Wow.
many Nick Cage fans out there.
Oh.
Yeah, we're streaming to you live. We're streaming to you live from a mansion in Beverly Hills. We're all in different rooms, though. Kevin's in the garage.
Yeah.
The maid's garage.
18-car garage.
18-car garage. All right, so
2 are next.
this is our first cage fight. So technically, we're all supposed to hate each other, except for the Cage Lord Sean. So the purpose of tonight.
Hey, Lord.
Yeah, but if he gets in the way, I'm freaking taking him out too.
I like that.
Ready to post.
Kevin already off to a bad start.
So basically, over the course of like 20 years, we've watched 5 movies, and
Feels like.
and we're going to make a case to you, Sean, Cage Lord Sean. It is up to you to ask questions. It's up to you to make a proper judgment based on our evidence, but it's also up to you to dole out any kind of punishments you see fit tonight. But first,
And there will be punishments.
there will be a lot.
There will
Good. Kevin,
Especially
this is your first time talking to Kevin. Kevin's never seen you before in his
Yep.
whole life.
I saw pictures.
Yeah.
He's one of my suggested friends on Facebook.
Facebook official right now.
Yeah. So I figured before we get started with this, we might as well kind of just get you up to speed with where we met Sean, how we know him, why we trust him as our first Cage Lord. So Steve, did you want to tell that story?
What's the...
The story about Sean. Sean did a pretty good he did a pretty good job last time, but we unfortunately lost that stream. Yeah, so Sean was a rapper back in the day when Steve and I were trying to be rappers. And
Cold front.
Successfully being rappers.
yeah, we were pretty successful. We were trying to kind of make our MySpace network bigger. So we went to this convention and we met another group of rappers, and Sean was basically in that group, and we had kind of a series.
So at the time, we were trying to get our name out there.
Yeah.
And so we were passing out cards, right? That's how the initial conversation started, right? You were passing out the cards to
We had cards.
the MySpace. Yeah, we had cards. We were handing them out. Check us out on MySpace, myspace.com. Honky Patrol, zeros.
Right. The O's are zeros.
No,
Yeah.
it's still up too. Want to check out any of our
So we
music?
met these great guys from Glove Unit, and man, this seems like 2 decades ago. And
This was
yeah, then we saw
I
Sean
think it was
like,
high school.
yeah, definitely high school. But we saw you like once a year at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys always went to Colossal Con. My group always used to go. No, I always remember because I was shout out to my buddy Ryan from Chicago.
Yeah.
Rich Bice. Or no, you're
Yeah,
Rich
say it
Bice.
twice.
Mercedes Benz. Yeah, he. We're just sitting there hanging out, like holding our balls energy drinks or whatever we had
balls.
at the time. And this guy we'd never seen before just walks up to us and was just like, "Hey, so how do you guys like to hear some homebrewed rap music?" And we're just like,
Come at
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
instant friends,
Instant
forever.
friends.
I mean, that was probably what, like 2006, 2007.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been
Yeah.
a freshman in college, I think, at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we collabed.
Ironically enough, my boss called me Trimmer today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want.
He didn't really know anything. Freak accident.
We want to thank you for coming on, Sean. It's really it's a pleasure to have you here. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this is all about having fun but being nice at the same time. All right, we don't want to get too mean. and I'm gonna go over the rules again as well. So here's kind of how things are gonna play out. Okay, we're gonna go through the rules. We're gonna talk about the 5 movies briefly. Steve, you're gonna show the trailers, right? Okay, we're gonna watch the trailers, and then we're gonna dive in. And really, Cage Lord Sean, it's gonna be up to you to kind of direct this whole thing. So you can ask any of us questions independently about the movies. They can be what we think about them, or just anything you're wondering. I mean, we probably don't have all the answers. It's been a while since we've seen most of them. Kevin here is the expert for sure.
I bet.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we're looking at these criteria we're going to talk about to help us convince you what is the best of these 5, so it can go into the what did I call it? Cage Hall of Fame?
The Cage Criterion Collection.
Cage Criterion Collection. Yeah, and I have a deal with Barnes & Noble and Walmart. They're going to be selling this collection. I'm going to make a lot of money, so let's do it, guys. That's a joke. That's a joke. Please don't sue me. We do have a sponsor tonight. We have, for our first cage fight, our sponsor is Stanley Sticker Stories from Broderbrunn Software. Stanley Sticker Stories is the 5th game in Edmark's early learning family of educational games designed for young children. You can pick from over 250 unique stickers and make your own very sticker world, including a Nicolas Cage sticker and characters from B-Movie, to make your stickers have interactive environments with fun, raunchy times and blood. Stanley Sticker Stories is available now for Windows 3.1 and Macintosh. So thank you, Broderbrunn Software. Alright, let's go over the rules of the cage fight. Alright, here are the rules, okay? We got a Cage Lord. Sean is the Cage Lord. The will of the Cage Lord is final. So whatever he says goes, right? We must address him as Cage Lord Sean. Now, if we violate this rule, that's okay, unless he gets upset about it. A Cage Lord is not... So Sean probably did not watch all of these movies, but he has to strive for an unbiased opinion based on the criteria that we give him. So we can't just expect that he's seen these, alright? It's just not fair. Only the Cage Lord can dole out punishments, but we may defer to a Cage Lord in request of punishments for each other. So Steve, you piss me off, I can ask Cage Lord Sean to make you do something embarrassing. At the end of the cage fight, when we feel, or the Cage Lord feels, that he has sufficient enough reason to end the fight, he will be given a 5-minute self-deliberation period to weigh the arguments at the end. So he'll be allowed to leave, or what have you. He can do whatever he wants for that period of time, but you can't just, leave forever. You gotta come back, or else we might kill each other. This is a cage fight.
Unlike my dad.
We are gonna stream the trailers. We will leave the live stream video up for 1 week after airing, and then after that, I'm going to make the cut for the podcast. I mentioned punishments. Punishments are supposed to be fun, not malicious. The Cage Lord is encouraged to select a punishment from what I've made here from my cruelty-free cage list. Do you have that, Cage Lord Sean? You don't?
I don't
All
think
right,
I do.
I'll get that for you. You're also welcome to invent new punishments, but they have to last under a minute, and they can't be too demeaning. Okay, here's the criteria, the most important part. All right, when we talk about movies, especially Nick Cage movies or B movies, there's a fine balance between movies that they operate with very little to create something that's watchable and good, and the other end of the stick is they suck, and we like them because they suck, or they're funny in an ironic way. And also, with Cage, there's a high Cage factor in his films. The Cage factor is, of course, his overacting. It's the power that he tends to bring to his movies that's unique, and that's why it's the Cage factor. So we kind of have to balance that in our arguments, so be aware of that. There can be a movie that somebody likes that's really bad, but the argument can be made that it's so bad that it's good, or there are certain elements of the movie that help to make up for just the fact that it's schlocky or something. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we have overall enjoyment, the overall watchability of the movie, the writing. Did the story make sense? Was it well written? Was the dialogue trash? The performances, this is Cage and the other actors in the film. cinematography. How did it look? That's always an interesting thing to look at in these movies. I think we have a pretty good range of cinematography just from these 5. And then finally, like I mentioned before, the cage factor plays a role in this. So, all right, Steve, shall we play the trailers?
I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned the whole order of plans. When do we select our movies?
When do we select our movies?
Well, when do we announce our choices?
After the trailers,
We're
going to go through the movies. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to go through the movies, and then Cage Lord Sean, we're going to get this started. It'll be up to you.
All right.
Ready.
All right.
Seriously?
Just like to give a shout out
Go
to, just give a quick shout out to birdsaren'treal.com.
Yeah. Is that a real website?
They're government drones.
Birds are not real.
Yeah. You think birds are real?
I see
Our
about
final
20
movie,
of
The
them
Boy
right
in
now.
Blue. All right. So those are our contenders for the night.
Steve, that was so fantastic. Thank you for doing that for us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Wow. And we're so civil with each other. It's great.
Well, give it time.
And now, the
Now
blood.
the blood. Okay, the 5 films we're talking about. Valley Girl from 1983, Rumblefish from 1983, Birdie, 1984. Oh, I skipped. Racing with the Moon, 1984. And then that last trailer was for The Boy in Blue, 1986. I'm still not born yet, so I don't know why they're making movies at this time. But that's alright. Alright, Cage Lord Sean. Where'd Kevin go? Is he still here?
I think-
You already gave in.
Kevin.
I think a punishment might be in order.
Oh, we did lose Kevin,
We gotta
didn't
bring
we?
Kevin back.
I think it's in the rules that
Yeah.
you need to ask to be
Alright.
excused.
Mhm.
So it's just like when my dad left all those years for the pack of cigarettes.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. How was that, like 2 or 3 years ago?
It was a few minutes ago.
Oh, he's coming back. He's back. He's back, everybody. He's
Oh
back.
man, I'm so sorry.
We lost him. We lost him in the rabbit hole. Now we
You
lost
did.
Steve. All I can see is America. You see that?
That's the last thing I'd want to see, being completely honest.
Man, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
I was in a scared, lost world
Long
there for
time
a
no
second.
see, man.
It's good to see
All
you.
right, here comes old Stevie. Hey, Stevie. All right,
Hey,
let's
girl.
get this started then, right?
Oh.
It's the beginning of our cage fight. Cage Lord Sean, I now hand you the power to dictate this cage fight between Cage Fighter Kevin, Cage Fighter Steve, Cage Fighter Reese. That's me.
Okay, so first, I think you should state what film you chose and give your opening statements to why this film should win the very first late night Nick Cage.
Okay, who should go first, Cage Lord Sean?
Kevin, since you are since we are blessed to have you in our company once again, I think it should be you. Just
Oh yeah. All right. Well, my pick is going to be Racing with
I
the
knew
Moon.
it! I knew it!
Because and it came down to that one and for me, but then I thought to myself, how can I argue these, how well can I argue both of these movies? And I definitely argue Racing with the Moon a lot more. About all I can say about Valley Girl is yeah, it's very cagey, and it's really funny because it's awful. I can't really say much more than that. But anyway, so I think Racing with the Moon is probably a movie that its biggest fans are going to be really, well, any biggest fans would be, I guess. But I think the normal person that's seen all these movies is going to say that movie is by far the best one.
Cage Lord Sean, can I say something? I just want to confirm.
I just want to let Kevin know he's wrong.
I just want to understand. You're saying you didn't. If you're saying it was between Valley Girl and Racing with the Moon, it would have been Valley Girl had Valley Girl been more have more of a mainstream appeal, but it did. Valley Girl is probably it has the most.
I don't mean that.
You don't mean that.
No, I mean. No, I guess I didn't mean that at all. I was meaning that the only reason. Are you meaning what I said at the end?
What do you mean?
I'm saying.
Yeah, you're saying you said the average moviegoer would hands down choose Racing with the Moon over Valley Girl or any of the others.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it takes the special audience that can laugh at terrible movies to like Valley Girl.
See, personally,
and I
go ahead. I don't want to get punished. Go ahead.
Well, I think before we get too into the argument side of things,
we should just get on with everybody else's.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's fair.
And actually, also, I think it would be good, especially for my own information, to do your best to do a quick synopsis of the events of the movie in a concise way.
Yeah. So what happens in the movie, Kevin? You remember?
Oh man, that one that was a good movie. That covered a lot of ground. So I guess it starts off with
just short. Just sum it up, man.
Well, I mean, basically, it's about a guy meeting a girl, and he's got this crazy friend that's Nick Cage, and it cages out a lot and does a really bunch of crazy extreme shit, like in the movie, and gets a really bad, dirty, nasty hanger abortion for the one chick.
Oh my
Sorry,
God,
spoiler alert.
I forgot about that part.
There's lots to unpack.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
Anyway, so it gets really crazy too at the same time, and at the same time it's a really good movie. But yeah, you get a lot of bonus material in there.
Is it well made, or would you say it's not well made?
Oh, I think it's very well made.
Okay.
Very well made.
Yeah.
And written.
Yeah, it's a war film.
So how did?
If I can just back him up a little bit, Cage Lord Sean.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a wartime film.
Yeah, it's another one.
Did we ever catch the year? It's been so long since we've seen it, but
Of
the year.
you said it at the beginning.
Year,
It's
I'm sorry, the
1980.
year in which the film was set.
Oh, it was like 1950s. I don't remember exactly the year, but it was sometime in the 1950s, 1953, 1956, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Wasn't it, or was it World War II? I can't remember. There were two that were around the same time period. One was World War II, and one was post World War II.
Wait, there were two of those?
There were two movies based on the same time period.
No, the wars.
There was World War II, and then there was World
Everyone always
War.
forgets World War I.
There was World War II 2.0.
Yeah. No, there was one that was taking place in the 1950s.
S.
What war was okay? Cage Lord Sean. Cage
my
Lord
God,
Sean, can I please request a punishment for Steve for trying to argue that there was a second World War?
There were two World Wars. There was World War I and World War II.
I think that it would be good if Steve repeats 3 times the phrase, "I am a bad motorcycle boy."
I've made a severe
Yes.
lapse in my judgment.
I'm
As
a bad motorcycle boy. I'm a bad motorcycle boy. I am a bad.
Now I'm
motorcycle
uncomfortable.
boy.
No.
Yeah.
Is that up to your level?
Way to go.
Lord Sean.
Yes,
Thank you.
that is sufficient for now.
Can I just add some more? I don't want to support Kevin too much, but I know where he's coming from because I have to admit I also liked Racing with the Moon. It was probably the top contender for me, but it's not anymore. So
Because of the emotion. Because from Kevin's synopsis, that kind of seemed like the main event of the film.
Yeah, it was just the.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it was Racing with the Moon is just a subtitle for abortion.
Yeah, it's a very political statement. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just I wouldn't say it's not one of the main. It's a big plot point, but it happens to one of the other characters, not one of the main characters, right? It's like her friend.
Right.
Yeah, but it adds.
Well, no, it's his.
It's his. That's right.
It's his.
Right. It's Nick.
Girlfriend.
Yeah. And so it causes tension between Nicolas Cageless and the main character, and there's some drama there. And you know that it's serious drama because it deals with abortion. So that tells you more about the film. It gets pretty heavy at times, right?
Is there a comic relief character?
Kevin?
What do you mean by that?
So Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Comic episodes in a dramatic or literary work that offset more serious sections. A archaeologist who begins as this oafish comic relief exemplifies her gift for character drawing. I don't know that.
I'll be goddamn, you're cutting in and out, man. I gotta hear this shit again.
Can I, Cage Lord Sean? May I attempt to explain?
Yes, you.
Kevin, was there like a funny character, a funny guy, funny girl, added some humor to the movie?
Just if you think
perhaps?
Nick Cage is funny, the way he acts.
Round of applause for Mr.
Yeah,
Cage.
good.
Actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so wartime drama, serious stuff, emotion. Got it. Okay, so Steve, what is your...
Oh no.
Okay.
Crack them knuckles.
I had a lot of deliberation on this. I went through and I thought about this quite a bit. And I do believe that everyone will be shocked.
Oh man, drum roll.
My choice is Birdie.
I knew it.
What?
Birdie had all of the elements. Birdie had all of the elements, guys. You got to understand this. Birdie had everything. Birdie had the serious roles. Birdie had the asinine, ridiculous Cage factors. It was a whole movie, and there were parts of it that, if with a certain perspective, it's so serious and so real with mental instability, mental health, but also just mentally insane at sitting down and actually powering through this entire movie. It was awful in so many regards that it made it almost enjoyable. And the fact of the matter is, He fucked a bird.
I know that's pretty
It's really not. No,
pretty hard to beat that.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
what else do you got?
Man. Cage Lord Sean, may I address Steve about his choice? I want to.
His choice of movie or his life choice?
Well, kind of both. It's one and the same. I'm going to accuse Steve of choosing this movie purely for shock value because I've known Steve for years, and anything to do with the furry community, he has always been against to a insane degree.
So here's the thing with that. Okay, they're feathers. Okay, they're not fur. So by default, there are 3 classifications. There's furries, there's scalies, and then I'm pretty sure there's featheries or something along those lines.
Yeah, he's just wearing a down suit.
That's right.
Coveralls.
Down suit. It's like getting inside of a sleeping bag. No different.
So Cage Fighter Steve, for your birthday, if I were to show up unannounced, dressed as a bird with a bird sona, that you would be fine with that.
Bird sona.
I wouldn't really be fine with you showing up at my house, but
I mean, would it be a children's birthday party? Because then is Big Bird a feathery?
No, the real question is, are you going to try to have sex with my birds?
You got me. You got me there.
You know,
if you want to be left alone in the room with your bird, naked, we might have to have a conversation.
You know,
what would you say?
You just made me think about Rule 34 Big Bird and the fact that exists. And
You're welcome. You're welcome. And that's the beauty of this movie, is that it makes you think about Rule 34 Big Bird.
You ever had some Big Bird dog?
I think I got to dole out punishment for giving that trauma.
Damn it.
To who?
Okay, so Sean, can I defer my punishment to Reese?
You have to give a reason. You have to give a reason.
Because it's a dick.
I'll allow it.
What?
Reese, you must emulate a Nicolas Cage laugh as per Rule 8 of the punishments.
That's the worst one, too. That's the worst one to do. Was that sufficient?
I believe it was.
Man, I didn't want to do a crazy one. Look, I got a reputation.
That's fair.
Is that it, Steve?
I mean, there's really not a lot else to say. The movie it kind of went back and forth between the past and the present. The present was all Nick and Birdie, who was his. Started out, I guess, as a kid that he kind of picked on, and then became best friends with. And throughout their whole childhood, Birdie became very obsessed with birds. He wanted to be a bird. He wanted to mate with the birds. And apparently, some point during war, they both left and went off to war. Like I said, all of these took place in the same time period. I don't remember. This one was Vietnam War, right? Yeah. And when they came back, Nick had half his face blown off, and Birdie had gone full bird. And so, yeah, it was kind of just trying to reconnect with him a little bit on a semi-sexual level. Also, while trying to hook up with his nurse at the same time.
Birdie or Cage?
Nick was trying to hook up with... Nick was fondling naked Birdie, full bird Birdie, while also trying to hook up with his nurse.
Just to clarify, not to assume Birdie's gender, but what gender would Birdie identify as?
Bird.
And I don't think
that's how
friends do that, do they?
What did you say, Kevin?
I don't think best friends do that, do they?
It depends.
It depends if your best friend is Harvey Weinstein.
That's right. That's right.
Very nice.
Me too, guys.
Well, Cage Lord Sean, you don't even have to ask me because I decided just not to pick a movie.
Oh, well,
I couldn't decide.
you pick all of them?
No, I picked one. Do you really want to know which one?
I think the viewers do.
Yeah. I was up late last night. I was rolling in my futon.
Is it sore?
It's sore. And I was thinking, I really wanted Racing with the Moon, Kevin. That was my first pick. Probably right at the end of watching all of this. I thought, yeah, this is hands down the best one. But then I started to second guess it based on the criteria that we came up with. And I started thinking about Rumblefish as surpassing Racing with the Moon in a few technical ways. I thought it was more stylish, Rumblefish. I thought that, the action fight scenes were really cool. The characters were interesting, the gang members. And I'll just give you a brief rundown of Rumblefish, Cage Lord Sean. It's another one where Nick Cage is he's not one of the stars. I mean, he's technically not really even a co-star. He's one of the periphery characters. But it's a Coppola movie. I forget where it takes place.
Uncle
Francis directed it. It's got a lot.
I think we constantly had a question of where it takes place. I think we ultimately decided on it being somewhere in the Midwest. It was far enough away that California was a trip, but close enough that it was something people dreamed of.
Yeah. It was supposed to be kind of like, the surreal. Well, the movie is a surreal movie in many respects, but it's got...
Because they were far away from the ocean. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you, Cage Fighter Steve. It's got Matt Dillon. He was Rusty James. Mickey Rourke, Motorcycle Boy. Dennis Hopper was the dad. He was really cool. And what was, the basic storyline is Rusty James...
Wait, who?
What? It's the story of Rusty James and his brother.
Who's that? Who's Rusty James?
Rusty James!
James.
Rusty James.
Looking for you, Rusty James.
Yeah, I know. They say that name like a million times. But
Yeah.
he's like a thug, and his older brother comes back.
So I'm sorry. Are you saying that Rumblefish is
No,
your
I'm
pick?
just trying to give him an idea. I'm just trying to give Cage Lord Sean an idea as to why it became one of my picks. So I just want to give him an idea of like what the movie's about. That's all. It's just gangsters, and it's like black and white, and it's just really, really interesting. It's an interesting movie, but
Wait, when you say gangsters in black and white, do you mean
That
the gangsters or?
you don't see color on this stream.
Yeah. Regardless of when the movies took place, it's 2019.
Listen.
Okay.
Steve is being a facetious flake. I'd like to stuff him into my
That's not very nice.
bird.
I don't want to have to give out another punch. Though.
All right, I'm sorry, Cage Lord Sean. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you sorry to me? No, you're not. I didn't
No.
think so.
I think you should. Be sorry
It's a
to the
really
fans.
interesting movie.
I'm sorry, fans. Sorry.
But two things that I thought really hurt its eligibility for the best. Number one, the ending. The ending was a little whack because Motorcycle Boy, right? He lets out all the animals and then out of the pet store, and then the police officer basically just police brutality murders him for that. Right.
That's true. It would be more realistic if he was.
That's topical.
Yeah, it was
It should-
eerily topical, so
it
it probably affected my opinion because of that. The other thing was there just wasn't enough Nick Cage. Just wasn't enough,
Yeah.
and because of that, I had to discount that one, and that's kind of the same reason why I also gave up Racing with the Moon. But I would say Racing with the Moon is probably my second pick. My first pick, after thinking about it, I thought about Valley Girl, its cult status, there's a lot of Cage in it, A lot of Cage outs. Huge fan base even today. I mean, they're talking about remaking it. But it's still just kind of like a one note for Cage. Even though he's in it, he's a very one note character. And I like the music a lot. The soundtrack is excellent. But I'm sorry, guys. I think hitting as many criteria as possible, the winner for me is Birdie.
Got a double bird.
I didn't think I would pick Birdie, but when I really thought about it, Steve, you already hit a lot of these points, and I'm a little disappointed because I really like pissing Steve off.
I was going to ask, actually, I mean, are you picking Birdie solely because you think it would piss me off if you picked something with Perception of Freedom?
See that? So Steve is accusing me. Are you paying attention, Cage Lord Sean? He's accusing me of pre-picking Birdie because it has to do with furries, just to piss him off.
Yeah.
So I think
it's important that we establish which one of you is the true furry. Just so the people know.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
So one of us two is an actual.
That is like a side of a baby's penis.
Yeah.
Well, here's the truth. There. I have no problem. I have no problem with furries. I mean, I wouldn't go to Anthrocon or anything, but I mean, I've hung out with them before.
I thought that was like an apology summit.
Third guess. No, Anthrocon is that's where all of the furries get together to have their big nasty.
All right, we're done.
I think it's time for another one of our sponsors, baddragon.com.
Today, I'm going to be going over the top 10 reasons why you should fuck a dragon.
Do you need some time with a large, strong dragon for your hub stream? Go to baddragon.com and
how much are they paying us? Is it just like a free? We each get a free subscription.
For 1 month subscription, yeah.
You can sign up with your Twitch Prime subscription and get Bad Dragon streams straight to your BlackBerry.
Just use the password. Just use the promo code RLB Revolution.
Thanks, Steve.
Back to the fight.
Back to the fight, Kevin. You better be paying attention because you're going to have to address some of these things, all right? Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Good. So I'm just going to go through my reasons for this choice. Overall enjoyment. Birdie, for the most part, I think it has mainstream appeal. Maybe not as much as Racing with the Moon because it's so weird, but minus some of the really kooky scenes, I felt like it wasn't quite as weird as Rumblefish. You might want to fight me on that one. But overall, the other reason is because even though there was a lot of weirdness in it and some of those surreal scenes and stuff, there was also like a real, genuine drama. And that had to do with Nicolas Cage, his efforts to try to save his friend, who's basically lost his mind from PTSD or whatever in the war. And
sorry, Birdie's my choice, but I've got to argue with you.
Go
there.
ahead.
I don't think that Nick ever was really trying. He never made an active. He never actively did anything to help his friend. If you're looking in the present tense storyline,
all right,
all he ever did was cry over his friend and try to hook up with his nurse. But he never really did anything to try to make his friend any better, or
that
he just
actually
acted out.
Well, that kind of helps my point though in a way, because if that's true, the final scene or that climactic scene where they're on the floor and he's holding Birdie and he's talking to him about, how the way he wished things could have been was very convincing. And you're saying that that character, either the character or Nicolas Cage, the actor, didn't really care.
Well, I definitely think that Nicolas Cage, the actor, didn't really care. All he wanted was a sex scene with her, because that's all he wanted in any of his early movies.
Did he?
Well, it got to me.
Did he get any in Birdie? He got any in almost every other movie, but I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, remember
actually
at the fair?
Did Birdie?
Yeah. Birdie got it on with his parakeet, right?
See,
that bird.
Birdie just had a real problem with mammary glands. Remember, he didn't understand this.
That bird fucks.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I thought the performances were suitable. There was enough Cage factor. Okay, there were definitely some good scenes. The scene where Nick is in the coop, right? And this is towards the beginning. He's in is it a coop that Birdie's building? And Birdie's in his bird costume, and Nick is like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then the next scene, Nick is in the bird costume. He's in one too, and that's when you know that this is gonna be some crazy shit.
Did he buy it, or
No, Birdie made it for him?
No, Birdie built it. Yeah.
so he just got these things on deck then.
Yeah.
Birdie's like ready to.
And dude, they break into some facility,
They were catching pigeons. They were training like carrier pigeons, right? Yeah.
They were catching pigeons, so they decided to catch pigeons on some freaking tower, and Birdie falls off. And he gets really hurt, and they made it really dramatic, and it was awesome. 2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert.
So, top 3 birds in Birdie.
Birdie himself.
Okay.
Nick Cage's hair.
Okay.
Because even though it didn't get famous until, what was it, like 2006, is his hair is a bird.
Yeah.
But if you watch that movie, his hair is a bird.
It's a precursor. It's like
It is, and I never realized it until watching this movie. But his hair is a bird.
Well, since
And then number 3 would be Birdie's girlfriend, the bird.
nice. Yeah. It was also the inspiration for Angry Birds.
Sorry, I shouldn't say girlfriend. I didn't really mean to assume bird's gender. My bad.
It's okay.
Apologies.
bird partner,
Bird partner.
domestic bird.
Domestic bird.
Bird partner.
Okay.
Oh, Steve.
Do you remember the bird's first name? Only name?
I don't actually.
Margaret?
Okay, so
Ferda.
Perda?
Perda.
Really?
Was it Perda with a P?
Perda.
Ferda. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a real movie
Yeah.
that exists.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. I struggled with this
I
one.
would definitely recommend it.
I struggled with it because I don't know if you gave me these 5 movies together and said, hey, pick one to watch. Even if having seen all of them, I don't know if I would pick Birdie.
See, I think because it is, I think it should be a tag team fight because otherwise it's unfair for Kevin.
It's true.
Well,
Hey, I can handle a handicap match any day.
You can take 2 guys at once. It's,
Been there, done that.
All right, Kevin.
truthfully though, if you're talking straight up like watchability, just overall enjoyment, like you're saying, sitting down and watching one of these 5 movies, my choice would probably have to be Valley Girl.
Oh, yeah?
Valley Girl, I think, just has a lot of the best like entertainment factor to just sit down and. Like, Valley Girl is the only movie that I could put on, do something around the house, and still have like some bit of just a moderate enjoyment if it's background. But some of these other ones that we watched, Birdie included, if I sat down and watched it and it was just in the background and I wasn't focused on taking notes for this, I think that all of the rest of these would drive me insane.
Yeah.
But Valley Girl is an easy to watch movie.
Yeah.
Steve, are you gonna change teams?
No, I'm just giving a fair assessment.
Okay.
I still think that Birdie, the cage factors in Birdie outweigh it. I think if I'm equally rating all of the categories, that I think that Birdie has more of the overall categories. But if I'm strictly talking about overall enjoyment and watchability, Valley Girl would probably be the clear winner in my eyes for just sheer watchability.
Man, Steve.
That's why I'm curious. Let's take it category.
I want to fight you so bad. I know we disagree on the second one, our second favorite.
Yeah. I just think. So, what do you think are the top reasons why you picked that movie, Steve?
Birdie?
Yeah.
It's really the cage factor. It's the cage factor. It's all of the insanities. It's the multiple levels that the movie has between some of the serious points that it really brings up, and especially for the time period. An early '80s movie to really talk about mental. Well, I guess they didn't really talk about mental health, but they really put it out there and put an eye on it. But I guess they don't really address it very well. If anything, they kind of just make fun of it. So,
are you saying that's like the first time that they've made it out there, like put it in a movie and so on? Because that's not the case. That's not what you mean. That's what it sounded like you meant.
I mean, no kink shaming, but
Steve, are you saying Birdie? Are you saying Birdie is the first feature film about mental illness?
Yeah.
No. I don't think it's the first by any means.
Bird-based mental.
Bird-based.
One flew over the.
Hopefully, the only one.
Out.
That's right.
It's also the prequel to Bird Box.
Love it. With Sandra Bullock.
The whole movie. What you don't realize is that the creature in the forest is just Birdie.
Oh man, what do you think? What do you think, Kevin?
What do I think? I think he. I think you get a lot of Cage in Racing with the Moon too, and you just get a much better movie. A movie that, I could probably watch Valley Girl again.
Yeah.
But I definitely would pick Racing with the Moon over that, and I wouldn't probably watch any of the other ones again.
So strictly speaking, on just overall enjoyment, and any of these movies that you would sit down and watch again, on that category alone, what would be your choice?
Racing with the Moon.
Reese, what about you?
Wow, put me on the spot.
Cotton Club?
It might be a tie. It might be a tie between Valley Girl and Racing with the Moon, depending on my mood. If I wanted something light, it would be Valley Girl. If I wanted something more serious and heavy, it would be Racing with the Moon.
Yeah, it would kind of depend if you have somebody else with you watching it. If you want to watch something, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to watch it with a guy, but with my Racing with the Moon. Yeah. But if it was with my wife, I would. But yeah, with a guy, I would watch Valley Girl.
Would you watch Birdie with your wife?
Yeah. What species? I mean, if she wanted to see it after it being explained to her.
Oh, yeah.
Would you watch Birdie with your daughter?
Sure. I mean, it would be all for me. She wouldn't be able to tell anything going on. She might say bird.
Great question.
Okay, so Kevin, it seems like you're almost leaning toward for overall enjoyment that Racing with the Moon may not be the top choice for all audiences generally.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that somebody could pick, like I say, depending on the circumstance of the audience, you could definitely go with Valley Girl over Racing with the Moon.
Okay, so how would everybody rate overall enjoyment for both Racing with the Moon and Birdie? Just the overall enjoyment factor. We'll leave out the cage factor, and we'll leave out the
all the others.
Technical directorial.
It's a great.
1 to 10 on each of them.
Birdie?
Yeah, we can do 1 to 10 for both of them.
Birdie, what are the two? Birdie and Racing with the Moon?
Yeah, I mean you can do one of the other movies if you want to make a put it in the running, but
well, I mean all of them are in the running.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's just do all of them then. Okay, so overall enjoyment.
Yeah. Overall enjoyment. See, this is man. Overall.
Okay. Well,
overall enjoyment. Okay. Overall enjoyment. Just
okay.
overall enjoyment. Overall enjoyment. Just plain straight up.
Yeah.
Overall
Overall
enjoyment
enjoyment.
is Valley Girl.
Okay, so this might make it a little bit easier. So, we can put
You want to rank?
ironic enjoyment and legitimate enjoyment as separate categories.
Okay.
That might.
Okay. For
I
me,
think that might-
ironic, laughable enjoyment, Valley Girl. For serious movie-going enjoyment, hitting all of the different emotional cues for me. To also include rewatchability, I would say Racing with the Moon.
So what we'll do is everyone can assign a grade for each to each film in each category.
Okay.
So we can do A through F.
Okay. So I guess I would give both of them A's for watchability. Racing with the Moon, Racing with the Moon, and
For enjoyment, not ironic enjoyment.
Racing with the Moon for genuine enjoyment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd rate that an A.
I would.
How would everyone else rate legitimate enjoyment for Racing with the Moon?
I'll give it an A. That's why I picked it.
Steve's like, I can't give it an A.
Man. I don't know if I can. It's
It's not for you. It's not for you. I mean,
yeah, for me. It's too. I'd have to be too invested. I have to be too invested in it to really sit down and just enjoy it. You know, so I would probably have to give it out of what? A through what?
A through F.
A through
High
F.
school.
I'd have to give it a C. I'd have to give it a C.
Okay. See.
I thought you were going to give it an E.
No. E for
E for excellent.
Okay. So, yes.
Yeah.
So, let's do Valley Girl then for legitimate enjoyment.
I give it a
I'd have to give it an A.
legitimate enjoyment.
For legitimate, I can put it on at any point in time and just enjoy it as a background. I don't have to sit down and be invested in watching the movie. I can kind of fade in and out and still kind of follow what's going on. Yes. I'm not talking writing. I'm not talking performance. I'm not talking cage factor. Just general watchability and enjoyment. Yeah, I would give it an A. Yeah.
Wow. Kevin, what about your thoughts on legitimate enjoyment for Valley Girl?
Legitimate
But this is
enjoyment?
different from ironic enjoyment, correct? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I can't give it very good for legitimate enjoyment. I mean, I can't I can't enjoy that movie seriously.
So what would you?
I gotta give it a. God, it'd be nice to say D. I'm gonna give it an F for
Wow.
legitimate.
Wow. You know,
That one's already C.
I can't say it's the worst I've seen by far.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But
bad.
I feel that it failed.
fucking
I
bullshit.
feel it failed. It failed to really to capture reality, and I guess you could argue that wasn't really the point. But you know, maybe I'm just not from that era. I got to give it a D.
You're also not from the
I'm
Valley.
not from the Valley,
Okay.
but I do like peanut butter sushi.
You tried it after.
Ooh. Okay, so for legitimate enjoyment, got an A, got a D, got an F. I feel like I should be writing these down somewhere.
Yeah. Man.
Okay, so what's the next one? Rumblefish.
Yeah. We can go through this one quickly, I think.
Okay, Steve, do you want to?
I'd give it a B.
Okay.
I'd have to be a little bit more invested, but at pretty much at any point in time, Rusty James comes up about every 35 seconds, so I usually know what's going on, and it has something to do with Rusty James.
Cage Fighter Steve, does that mean you only really like movies that you personally invest in your money? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying invest my time.
Oh, my time.
So there's a good. If I can kind of rewatchability. Now,
Gotcha.
watching a movie the first time, I want to sit down and focus on it and watch it. Rewatchability to me is a movie that I can kind of put on, and I don't really have to focus on to enjoy it.
Okay.
Okay. So you said your rating was what?
B.
B. Okay. I actually wrote these down. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna have to give that one a C. And the thing that I think is helping it out the most is just how well shot the movie was.
Well, that's going to be a separate category.
That's cinematography, son.
Oh yeah. I guess that would be one. We're talking about legitimate enjoyment. Basically, it's an interesting movie. Like there's not too many like it. It's a very original kind of thing. I feel like. I mean, it's kind of out there.
But it's not
me.
great, obviously. You've seen other movies that try to do the same thing better.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if this is going to change anything, but maybe we can just consolidate cinematography into legitimate enjoyment. Just for would that change anybody's rating? Race Me, Moon, or Valley Girl?
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt me for Valley Girl because the cinematography in Valley Girl it hurts your eyes at some point.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So you'd go from a D to an
No,
F.
I'll stay at a D. I've seen worse.
Okay.
I've definitely seen
I'd have to drop down to a B for if I'm talking cinematography
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
It's pretty bad.
And then for me,
Fair enough.
I haven't given my score for Rumblefish. I'm also going to give it a B. Cinematography is excellent. It's a good story. It fails towards the end. And what was my other thing about Rumblefish? I mean, I like that it's kind of experimental, psychedelic at times. It's a very different kind of movie. But I have seen, other similar movies that I think do it better. So that's why I can't give it an A.
So next one.
Let me just throw this out here real quick because I know we're about to go. Cage Lord Sean.
No, of course, go.
Are we all pretty much in the consensus that Boy in Blue is just not even worth rating?
Just for the audience, why do you think Boy in Blue? I know just me personally. I granted I haven't seen any of these movies, but to me it seemed like the least interesting.
If you go and throw shit together, it isn't worth rating.
It's like they tried to make a documentary and then tried to make it into an interesting movie. They tried to make a documentary with a plot. I don't know.
Yeah, the tone is all across the board. They try to. You're not really sure if the Boy in Blue, what's his name, Ned Hanlon. You're not really sure if he's like someone you would root for. He's definitely not a wholesome kind of guy. He's selling moonshine, and then he's trying to, he's kind of not. He's really touchy with the girls, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of like, should I say, anti-hero?
I do have to say, I would love to see a recast of this movie, because I do think that there are a few roles, if they took this and remade it now, I think it could be better.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Cage Lord Sean, when you have a sports movie, the most important scenes should be the sports sequences, the action sequences, and they suck. They're uninspiring, boring. They're just lame, man. I mean, it was hard to watch even the action scenes.
No anime titties.
None.
Yeah.
No. Not even a side boob.
But I do have to say that if they redid this movie now, keeping Nick Cage as Ned Hanlon, and his buddy, I don't know, at the beginning, which one was that? Was that?
I don't know.
Did you say that there was no boobs in
Bill or Riley?
In Boy in Blue?
There definitely
Riley.
was.
There were.
His buddy Riley.
Are they nice?
Yeah, they're very nice. It's very beautiful actress. I don't remember her name or anything, but
Nice.
she's the main chick in the movie.
Well, speaking of the main,
You don't remember, Reese?
the main chick, Birdie. Well, sorry, but officially, I think we have to discount Boy in Blue. You are no longer in the running. You are out of the late night Nick Cage fight. Fish. So, the final film, rated for legitimate enjoyment / cinematography, the 100-pound gorilla in the room, or should I say the 100-pound talking bird boy.
That's kind of Birdie.
Steve, how would you rate legitimate enjoyment of Birdie? Keep in mind that this does not include ironic enjoyment. It's tough, man.
It is tough. I'd probably have to rate this a C. If I'm talking overall enjoyment and cinematography, and from a legitimate standpoint, yeah. The cinematography was all over the place. I don't know. It was decent, but it wasn't great. Yeah.
Would you watch it again?
With your pants on.
So I would watch it again if only to have somebody else experience it and experience their first time watching it. But for my own enjoyment, the trailer's enough.
You know,
Just the memories of it.
Your first time person can have with a bird is beautiful.
Yeah, but after that,
Beautiful
it's just
thing.
Bird's probably dead.
Yeah, because they don't live that long, and
Yeah.
hawks.
Cage Lord Sean,
Human size.
if I may, I'd like to
Yes.
know. I'd like to know why Cage Fighter Kevin did not like Birdie.
Yeah.
I'm not clear on that.
I second that.
I think it's clear why he likes Racing with the Moon. But why did you not like Birdie?
Why did I feel like it wasn't the number one for me?
Was it one of the top?
It was probably, well, since I said that my top two.
If you had to pick between Birdie and Cotton Club.
Oh my God, definitely Birdie. And definitely.
No,
So it was
you're
third.
confusing our Cage Lord.
That's how bad it was. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Birdie's probably third though. I didn't really enjoy Rumblefish that much. To me, it was kind of boring and it kind of moves slowly. Well, and if it did move, it just went into a really random scene. So that basically wasn't getting you anywhere.
I'm sensing a little bit of hostility from Kevin, and I'm led to believe that his disdain for Birdie may be bigoted in some way. So I think that there needs to be a punishment.
Oh my God,
Man.
that's a real stretch.
I'm sorry, I gotta do it. This is 2019. We're not dealing with any anti-feathered bigots.
Yeah, Steve.
Oh man.
I mean, we just lost 5,000 subscribers. There's a very big feathery community on Twitch, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to repeat in a Nick Cage voice. God, I love Cornish game hen.
God, I love Cornish game hen.
Yes. Beautiful.
Very good. I think the community, the bird community, which is not real, but the bird community can start to heal finally after we've. So Kevin, what you rate Birdie?
For legitimate enjoyment,
Yes.
I would give Birdie a C.
Okay. Reese, you are the final rating we need for category number 1.
Yeah. Well, we already know that I chose Birdie as my top pick, so I'm giving it a B overall.
Okay.
Because you can follow the
So-
story. It's simple enough.
Mhm.
Yes, it has flashbacks and some like crazy psychedelic scenes. But then it has, I don't know, I thought the ending was cool. When Birdie jumps off and you don't know, it's open-ended, but it's in a really unique way where it makes you question what is real. And I know we had a couple movies that did that in this set of films, but I felt like Birdie pulled it off the best. And for that, I'm giving it a B.
Fair enough. Okay, so I will recap our ratings for the first category. So, we have, in last place, we have Valley Girl with 1B, 1D, and 1F.
Oh, well, Peter Piper picked a pepper, I guess I did. Oh,
Then in third place, we actually have Birdie with 1B, 2 C's. Second place, Rumblefish with 2 B's, 1 C. And in first place, in the first late night Nick Cage fight, winner of the first category, Race Me to the Moon with 2 A's and 1 C. Okay, so right now, Race Me to the Moon is in the lead. So, how do you guys feel about ironic enjoyment?
Ironic enjoyment. For each of them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so...
So,
Sorry.
we'll just go down the list. Race Me to the Moon.
Okay.
Steve, do you want to start? You have a question?
Yeah. Okay, so can we tie the erotic enjoyment in with just the performances category as well?
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
I think they kind of go hand in hand for a lot of them for me.
Did you say erotic performances?
Well, there
ironic.
is a Nick Cage sex tape that you can view on X video
Birdie special features.
dot net. Yeah. Amazon Prime exclusive. Race Me to the Moon. Ironic enjoyment. Steve, do you
Race
want
Me to the Moon.
get us started?
Racing with the Moon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Steve just... Cage Fighter Steve, he's losing his mojo here.
I am.
It's a Monster Energy.
It's been a long day.
Yeah?
Gotta just inject that shark adrenaline right into your left testicle.
So ironic enjoyment. There was and performances as well. There was a lot going on in this movie.
Like abortion.
Like what?
Abortions?
Like abortions.
Yeah.
Like abortions. Like bar fights. There's a lot of action. A lot of interesting action going on.
It's interesting because I didn't expect that from Kevin's synopsis.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like a, some kind of, erotic romance novel that would have Fabio on the cover, but with Nick Cage's face.
Yeah.
But I would say even with all the interesting things going on, they're not very well played out. So I think I would probably still have to give it a C.
Okay.
They're just kind of expected.
And I'd have to say that and granted, I have not seen any of these, but from the descriptions, it seemed like this would be the one with the least amount of ironic enjoyment.
Yeah, I'd actually probably have to go closer to a D. There's just really no shock factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kevin, since this was your main film.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it pretty low for ironic enjoyment. Yeah, I'd probably give it a D too.
Did you guys forget Nick Cage singing The Bowling Alley? The shit he said when he was drunk?
Oh my god! And then he grabbed that dick's tit.
I feel like
There's
my
some
god!
good stuff in there, man.
I feel like this clip right now.
Oh my god! I wish I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that part there alone gets it up one letter grade to a C.
I say C too.
Okay, so CCD. Okay. Valley Girl.
This one's easy. Ironic enjoyment, A. I mean, we're including probably Cage outs as well in the ironic enjoyment.
Yeah.
A.
A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Any reason why? Or
There's a lot of Cage.
I mean,
there's a lot of Cage going nuts.
There's a lot of things in that.
A lot of ridiculousness.
Yeah. It's straight insanity from every character, from every angle. It's the Brett Kavanaugh special.
It's got racism,
the entire
elitism.
It's got
Fuck you!
rape.
oh shit! Infowars just picked us up.
I don't think there's actual rape in it, Steve. Can I? Cage Lord Sean, he's referring to He's referring to what should I say? I guess minor sexual assault. Nick Cage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
You know, it's
my bad. Yeah, hold on to your values. Consent isn't really a big deal.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Irreversible from France? Well, anyway, there's no scene like that in Valley Girl.
You live around?
Is that just about rape? Because you can't.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you doing back here?
I forgot my car.
It's definitely Stanley Kubrick's Girl Next Door.
I kind of thought that maybe you.
Wait.
We could what?
Yeah.
It's not like the Girl Next Door. Have you seen the Girl Next Door, Cage Lord
I
Sean?
don't think you'd be any more welcome down there right now.
No, but I have seen the trailer.
I'm so
You know which one I'm talking about?
Kill.
Yeah.
Don't ever.
Yeah.
With
Wait a minute.
Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah.
Something.
Don't watch that. Don't ever watch that.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. I've never seen clips of that movie on.
Yeah. So I'm just saying,
What?
Steve was suggesting that the sexual aspects of this movie were like that in Girl Next Door, or have you heard of Salo, Italian film?
I didn't say violent attack. No. But
No.
by
You use the R word.
modern
You
terms.
use the
by
R
modern
word. It
terms.
wasn't Reese's Pieces.
No,
By modern terms.
I think Steve is gonna have to take a punishment
Yes!
for misrepresenting such a heinous act on our Lord.
Can you give him a Deliverance style punishment?
Hey,
Just like a quote from the movie. That's what I mean.
Kizor song.
Yes.
Interference. Reese is interfering with your judgment.
Who?
I would like him to share in my punishment.
Cage Lord Sean. Why should I have to share?
I'm requesting that Reese share in my punishment because he's trying to force your judgment.
I think both of you need to apologize to Saint Nicolas Cage. You need to repeat 3 times, "I'm sorry, Saint Nicolas Cage."
Oh,
I'm sorry, St. Nicolas Cage.
In unison.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, Saint Nicolas Cage. I'm sorry, Saint Nicolas Cage. I'm sorry, Saint Nicolas Cage.
And on the 3rd day, he filmed Rumblefish, the next movie that we're talking about. Okay, so ironic enjoyment for Rumblefish. Steve.
You should ask me first, because Steve's never prepared.
But
look at that pretty bow on his head.
Did you do your homework?
Yeah. It's like between a D and an F for me. I'd have to say it's probably close to an E. There wasn't much irony going on there, but the final scenes with Nick.
Well, technically, there's no E because that's not.
I know. That's what I'm saying though. Like I'm like on the fence. It's between D and F for me.
Oh, D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd probably have to give it a D, just solely for the final scene with Nick. I think that's really the only thing that kind of brings it up above.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin.
I will give that one. I gotta give it a C because I feel like there was enough to get it to that point. If there was enough in Racing with the Moon to get it to that point, then there was enough in Rumblefish. But it's different. It's Nick Cage doing it in Racing with the Moon, but it's It's actually everybody else doing it for the most part in Rumblefish.
Okay.
So you're saying that there's a lot of ironic bad acting or scenes in Rumblefish by the other characters?
No, not necessarily bad acting, just bad writing.
Okay. All right. This is a little tough. Because mostly what I remember is that last scene with Nick Cage, which is pretty awesome. Awesomely bad and hilarious. So it can't be an F. Maybe it's got to be between a C or a D. And I do recall some other kind of schlocky moments. I just don't think there was enough Nick. But definitely given Nick,
yeah,
it was pretty bad in places. So I'm gonna say a C.
Okay. And the final film for Ironic Enjoyment for Steve.
Here it is.
I think I already know.
It's up there. It's an A, man.
It's an A?
Cage outs from... It's an A. Cage outs from beginning to end. Yeah, you couldn't go very long without some bit of insanity.
Yeah.
And from the Ironic Enjoyment, I mean, no one's going to sit down with, one hand under the blanket to watch this kind of movie, but ironically, I definitely would. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh my God! There's no way I could give that one an A. Yeah. I can't give that one an A if I gave Valley Girl an A because it's just so much funnier.
Yeah.
But I will give it a B. I'll give it a B because it's a movie that you'll never forget and you can talk about to your friends and make fun of it together. But yeah, you have to actually have that humor too because I don't even know. Yeah, you'd have to have that humor for sure.
Okay,
because people could watch that movie seriously for and take it serious with mental illness or whatever, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know how they would. I guess people would watch it. I don't know for that.
I vote B.
B,
as in Birdie.
Okay, baby. So we actually have a tie for third place between Race Me to the Moon and Rumblefish. Then number 2 is Birdie, and the winner for category number 2 in the first late night Nick Cage fight is Valley Girl for Ironic Enjoyment. Now, our final category, we have the Cage Factor. And I think before we have everyone rate the Cage Factor in all their movies, I think it would be time for a Nick list.
A Nick list?
Nick list?
Oh my gosh!
I think it's time for a Nick list.
Man,
this is like a pop quiz, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's time for tonight's
Nick list.
So, Valley Girl, the Nick list. What does Nick Cage do in Valley Girl? What I remember the most is when he's hiding out in that girl's bathroom, waiting for the main chick to come in there. Yeah, and then he jumps her in a very creepy way. I mean, Valley Girl has all the good Nick list stuff.
That's true.
What else does Nick do in Valley Girl? He meets his girlfriend's parents at their little store or whatever it is, and he's just a complete douche to them. It's like the first time he meets them, and He just treats him like crap. I remember that. Man, what else does he do? Kevin, what else happens?
In Valley
help me
Girl?
He drives around town laughing. and
Oh
pointing
yeah,
at people.
and yelling.
Yeah, he knows everybody.
Yeah. Yep. He is. It's just. It's really interesting watching him and seeing him play somebody that thinks he's just the greatest thing in the world, because he's actually even kind of bad at playing that, even though I think he thinks he's really good. If he would have just been himself there.
Yeah. Yeah. In Rumblefish, he gets in a fight with Matt Dillon at the end, and you find out that the whole time he's just been trying to steal Matt Dillon's girlfriend. And also he's trying to become Nick, of course, is trying to become the leader of the gang.
The alpha.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. Birdie, I feel like we already went through the great Nick scapades.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, it's just... Oh my gosh. When he's just following this crazy Bird fan around everywhere. And that's the problem with Birdie, is it doesn't make sense why they're so close, why they're friends. You just kind of have to go with it. It's totally unbelievable. So you have the scene.
No, it makes sense.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
I mean, of course we remember.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason that we're friends.
Probably the best is when Nick Cage decides to. He's visiting his friend in the mental hospital, and the nurse, is explaining, what's wrong with him and how she's trying to assist him in his recovery. And Nick's response to that is to just grab her breast. And then say, "I'm sorry, I haven't touched a woman in a long time." And I just feel like in any movie that does not make sense whatsoever. In any context. I mean, they don't even have like a romance in them. You know what I mean? It was just random.
Yeah. That is a sexual assault.
It is. But she's like, you haven't touched a woman in a long time. I understand. Yeah. No. That's fine. Racing with the Moon, Nick Cage has a dance number. He's singing. Remember that? Kind of trying to tap dance. What does he do with that? He says something to another guy, a drunk guy. He's drunk. He has a really funny line. It has to do with which movie was it? Plucked and Fucked. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that Valley Girl?
No.
I don't even remember what scene that was.
No. Look it up.
I think it was Birdie.
It might have been.
When they're walking through the junkyard, or area.
Yeah, it's Birdie. Yep.
Is it?
Yep. That's a great line.
Okay. Throughout all four films, and you can include anything from Boy in Blue if you want, but what are the top 3 Cage moments?
Oh, that sucks because we're remembering them as we go.
No, top moment for me has to be the entire post breakup montage in Valley Girl.
Me too. Yep.
He just stalks her everywhere. What was it when he brings the drink?
Oh man.
Oh God! But it's gonna kill me.
He
now.
brings the drink. Peter Piper picked a pepper. He's stalking this girl he wants to date, and he does that by working these different jobs and waiting for her to show up, like a total creep. And she's in the car with some other guy. I don't remember, another character.
Like her ex-boyfriend, right?
He's like,
she got back together with him.
How they used to have the drive-in where they would come serve you on roller skates. I don't think he was on roller skates, was he? But in my mind, it's like he wheeled up. He wheeled up and, well, Peter Piper the pepper.
No, all right. I found the line. It's Tommy. She got back together with Tommy. Oh, it looks like you forgot our fries and our Coke, fish head. Oh, well, Peter Piper picked a pepper. I guess I did.
Okay, so that's a good one. Are you guys ready to
bitching instead 3D?
rate?
No, but your faces. Sorry, Cage Lord.
What are we rating? We're rating the cage outs? Cage factor?
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is exclusively the cage factor. So, race me to the moon.
This is gonna go. I think it's gonna be identical to when we looked at the ironic enjoyment. It's gonna be exactly the same.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the cage outs in irony.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be A for me for Valley Girl. C for Racing with the Moon, I think. Rumblefish is just not enough. That would be a D. Except there's that last scene, which is pretty good. Yeah. What else?
Well, if that's exactly the same, then in terms of winning categories, it would actually be Valley Girl, which is interesting because that was nobody's first pick.
Except for Kevin Smith.
Cage Lord Sean, I don't know what to say. If you pick Valley Girl, I feel like you're agreeing with the internet mob that doesn't exist.
Well, I didn't say that was my pick. That
it's one that surprised me.
Hard. So, yes. Yeah. So I guess we can all agree Rumblefish is out.
I can agree.
It's a good movie. It's just not. There's just not enough there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough Cage. So Rumblefish is eliminated.
That's harsh.
And from what I grasped so far, it seems like Race Me to the Moon is a competent movie as a piece of cinema, but it doesn't seem like it is quite enough, doesn't have enough Cage. Is that correct?
It's not extreme, but I think it's got a definite good balance of Cage.
Yeah. So would you say that, Kevin, since this was your pick, that Race Me to the Moon is, at least for this era of Cage, one of his best acting roles?
No. Well, no, because I think it was a smart choice by the casting people to put him in that role, because he kind of had like a playground there. He was able to be himself. It didn't really matter how he acted because he wasn't the main star, too. And he kind of could be who he wanted to be, really, in that role, as long as he was an outgoing person, basically.
So would everyone agree that Race Me to the Moon is, if we're strictly looking at what would be like an Oscar award-winning film, would that be the one that is most likely?
Out of the group? Yes.
Out of those three?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
That is the vibe that I'm getting from this movie, but just featuring our Lord.
But I think we also we need to be aware that there is a Cage factor as well. He's not just like a background character. There are a few scenes.
It's true.
He really shines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Sean Penn.
But it does seem
And there's an irony there too. Sean Penn.
it does seem to me that out of the three, that for the purposes of this cage fight, Race Me to the Moon may not meet the criteria that I, as Cage Lord for this cage fight, I don't think that it. I don't think it's there. That is just my gut.
Okay.
Kevin, would you like to argue for Race Me to the Moon?
Yeah, because well, I think it had enough. I think it had enough Cage. I think it had enough. I think it had enough Cage and still was a great movie too.
Those are pretty solid arguments.
What would you say the Cage to not Cage ratio would be for Race Me to the Moon?
I would say I think he's in there at least a third of the time. Don't you think?
Yeah, he's in there
Guys?
for a lot of scenes. Yeah.
And then for the other two, he's one of the main characters, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do Steve and Reese, do either of you have anything to say about Race Me to the Moon before we move on to another film?
What do I have to say about it? I mostly agree with Kevin. I think it's got Nicolas Cage with Nicolas Cage moments, and it's also a good movie. It's solid. It's funny. It's sad. Sean Penn is good in it. Of course, he plays like he's the same. He plays every role the same, it seems like, but it has a great female lead. It pulls off what it was trying to do very well. So I agree. I just think Birdie has the stronger balance.
Well said. Okay, so did anyone want to make any arguments for or against Valley Girl? I know that this was not anyone's first pick, but it is, I think, still a strong contender.
Cage Lord Sean, I hope they remake Valley Girl and they don't change a single line of dialogue. That's all I want to say.
Who would you have direct the remake Valley Girl?
John Shyamalan.
Does he direct?
Probably not, but who cares? It's the same script. M. Night Shyamalan? Come on.
Speaking of directors, I just want to take a quick sidebar and give a shout out to what was that, Steve?
Sorry, keep it wrong.
God damn right. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the great director, Mr. Tommy Wiseau. I'm not sure if any of you three saw, but he dropped the trailer for his newest film a few days ago, Big Shark.
Yes. I did.
Which I think this may be one of the biggest landmarks in American cinema since
Jaws.
I was gonna say Godfather, but
yeah. Well, I agree.
There was a shark in that too, right?
In Godfather? No, you're thinking of Godfather 4, where the one godfather's in bed with the other godfather, and he rolls over and he thinks it's his godfather, but it's the shark's head. It's decapitated in the
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, my fucking shark!"
Yeah. No, I remember. Yes.
I'd also like to take a moment to thank another one of our sponsors tonight, Nick Dick, the e-cigarette vape brand. My best friend Joe, he used to be a smoker, but he doesn't smoke anything anymore. He's been sucking on the Nick Dick lately. So, just want to say thank you for sponsoring this episode.
I needed to stretch after that.
Also wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Rob. I think he's probably watching this stream. I would assume. I don't have my phone.
He's
but,
probably thinking, Jesus, I could have watched all 5 of these movies by now.
Don't worry, we saved you the trouble.
Yeah, in a 3-hour live stream.
Anyway,
but listen, Cage Lord Sean, I just want to say I appreciate you being here, and I also really appreciate your thoughtfulness and thoroughness in trying to help us decide.
Hey, don't be a suck up.
I'm not being a suck up. I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
I figured you would just ask, like, hey, which one did you like? Which one did you like? Which one did you like? All right, well, I guess that one wins. So, cool. Let's talk about let's talk about basketball or something.
Would you believe that all that organization was like totally done off the cuff?
No.
That's not the case at all.
Yeah, we've been planning this out for months. That's why we've been so late. Yeah. We've been rehearsing and practicing and making sure that we were fully prepared for
and
this.
we had to wait for that. We had to wait for the confirmation from Nick Dick too.
Yeah. They weren't really sure that they wanted to sponsor us. They're still a new startup company, but just a lot of people really like sucking on that Nick Dick, and it's really helping with their addiction issues. So,
is it a vape?
Yeah, it's a vape.
It's like a vape pen, or what does it look like? What's the shape of it?
It's cylindrical and long, and you put it in your mouth and you inhale on it, just so like that.
There's no button.
It's just full pressure. The harder you suck, the more you get. That's one of their big advertising features. It helps build lung capacity because you have to suck harder on the nicotine in order to get a good drag.
It's nicotine, right? Tobacco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you think?
Oh, is that what? Oh, okay.
It's trademarked, by the way. Nicotine.
Nicotine. Yeah.
Anyway, but so Valley Girl. Does anybody want to make any arguments for or against Valley Girl?
I mean, I feel like we've said what needs to be said. It's a good one to watch because of Nick and because of the just insane level of humor throughout the entire thing. But it's also completely superficial, ridiculous, not based on reality or maybe some, crazy version of the 80s at that time. It's got a great soundtrack, probably the best soundtrack of all the movies, because it's got all these hit 80s artists. Except the reason that I don't think it's that awesome is the last scene is a dance with this 80s pop singer, and I can't stand her music. She's got a song called Johnny, Are You a Queer Boy? And I just didn't get it.
We just get demonetized, by the way.
Demonetized for that? Yeah. Well, it's not my fault. Blame Nick Cage.
That's the name of the song.
A queer boy.
So in defense of Valley Girl, I will have to say it's one of the reasons we have Nick Cage today. This movie really jump-started his career.
That was his first leading role, correct?
Technically, by release order, yes. By film order, Rumblefish was his first.
Okay.
But Valley Girl very much really jump-started his career. That's the one that had the most popularity. That's the one that people still watch today.
Sorry, I just.
I think we actually just got a DCMA takedown notice from Yahoo.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Did you say Yahoo or Yoo-hoo?
Both.
All right.
Yahoo and then Yoo-hoo for Yoo-hoo. Good job.
So do you need time to deliberate? You're trying to get us. You need more information, Cage Lord Sean.
Before we deliberate, did anyone want to say any final words about Birdie?
I would just like to read you a quote from Birdie himself.
Okay.
This is going to be special.
In a dream, I'm trying to decide what I am. When I sleep, I'm giving myself strength. I'm reaching for the force to fly. Petra waits, cups herself to receive me. I hover, then I lower myself into her. Petra and I become one. I see through her eyes, fly on her wings. I am no longer alone.
Man, that was a good move.
Hey, Steve, you're supposed to help Birdie win.
Okay. Well, I think that's all that needs to be said about Birdie.
Well, can I just say I was disappointed.
Yes.
Nobody in Birdie got the bird flu, but the bird suicide through the window, suicide by window made up for that.
True.
Yeah, a bird.
That's not a laughing matter. I had a cockatoo growing up, so
Listen, I wasn't trying to upset you. I didn't say it was funny. It was an emotional scene. It was Birdie's girlfriend and possibly the mother, right? The mother of his bird child.
Yeah.
I'd just like to post the
I'm pretty sure that Birdman is his legitimate child.
bird suicide hotline in the chat right now. Just
please do.
you know, if you know any birds or bird related humans that need counseling, you're not alone and there is help. So please.
I gotta ask you a question, Reese, and this is a little bit off topic,
All
but
right.
not completely.
All right. Then we gotta pick the best one.
If you crossed Steve with Sean, who in the hell do you think it would look like? Honestly.
I think you would look like somebody else we know.
Yeah.
Really?
I think they would look like Nick Cage.
Can we?
Am I wrong? I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not asking for punishment here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that's deserving of punishment.
No. Full disclosure, I'm not trying to insult anybody here.
Well,
I don't mean it in a
how
bad
is
way.
that an insult?
It isn't.
Steve, can we learn the fusion dance to test this theory?
Let's do
Is
it.
that in Naruto?
One Piece actually.
Oh, fusion. Yeah. Oh, that's from that's from that HBO show, right?
Yeah, Poke Sailor
Nuclear
Hakusho.
power explosion. HBO's nuclear power explosion.
Mm.
That's what it was called.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it was called.
was about
that's
the
right.
plane
Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
Gundam Bebop.
Who played Bill?
Cosby.
It was. Yeah, they filmed that pretty early. They're HBO's on their shit. So
Yeah. Well, they got to get the big names, but
yeah,
I wish he would have been able to
You
fix
know.
that reactor. Maybe he wouldn't have gone to
they
jail.
almost got but you know she was busy that afternoon. I think she was at some rally.
It was a pro vodka for women rally.
Mm.
Yeah.
Skinny girl vodka or
Scanny girl vodka. Which movie wins,
Yes.
man? Which is it? I'm on the edge of my computer chair. I need to know.
okay, so it's tough because it almost seems like the three movies that we have represent a spectrum on the Nick scale. Race Me to the Moon is more towards well-made film with a little bit of a cage factor, and then Birdie, Steve Punishment. Steve, you have to say 3 times, I am not bitching.
I am bitching.
Ow.
I'm not bitching. I'm not bitching.
Okay,
I'm
so
tubular.
Valley Girl, I think, is on the other end of the spectrum, where it is campy schlock with prime cage factor. And Birdie, to me, is not only, I feel it equally represents both camps, but it also has a unique premise that I feel that the other two films do not necessarily have. Not to say they're not unique. So I think we're gonna have to go.
God.
I think you're getting robbed.
Stay off the nip, guys. That cat. I think we're gonna have to go with Birdie. So, the winner of the very first late night Nick Cage fight season finale is Birdie.
Do you think you'll watch it?
I think everyone should watch it.
Is Birdie? Can you find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can rent it on
obviously,
Amazon
we
Prime
found
for
it.
$4.
Okay.
And I think that would be great for you.
I think that movie would help me with gain a sense of togetherness and community that I've never felt as a straight white male in America. So,
Well, the birds.
I just
The birds are pigeons, so they're white birds too, for the most part. Yeah.
yeah.
But not Perda.
Not Perda?
Not part. She's special.
Oh yeah.
She's a canary, I believe.
Gotcha.
I don't want to assume her color because that's offensive to.
Well, it's not
Birds.
Rumblefish. There's color in the movie.
So does Rumblefish actually have any fish?
Yes.
Rumblefish are a type. Do you know betta fish?
Mm-hmm.
They're also called rumblefish.
Apparently.
Oh yeah, big time eye opener there.
So, Cage Lord Sean, there's a scene in Rumblefish where Motorcycle Boy is with Rusty James in the pet store, and he's looking at the fish. And the rumblefish or the beta fish, they're the only things I believe in the movie that have color. And Motorcycle Boy makes the point that you can't put two rumblefish together because they fight. I think that's what he says. He makes the comparison and says that
because they're in small areas and they need enough space to be able to. Yeah.
And he's saying that he's making the connection with the gangs there in that city, and he's kind of, I think, expressing the desire to want to break free from that. And then that's kind of the lead in to him freeing all the pets at the store later, and then finally his death. Whereafter.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's this. Yeah. It's
what
do you call it? A metaphor?
Yeah.
And it works. I really liked that scene a lot. I thought it worked in the.
I think there were a lot of interesting things about Rumblefish from a cinematography standpoint, because Rumblefish. The other thing that was interesting about it is the whole movie was in black and white, and I still argue there were some sound things with that as well, and it was because it seemed to be brief from the perspective of Motorcycle Boy, and he made a comment at some point in the movie that he was colorblind, and partially deaf or something.
Yeah,
and
it's a nicely layered.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Fish did seem like one that I'd be interested in watching.
We were just disappointed a bit in the ending. So.
And just the general lack of Cage. It was a good movie, but it was very, and I think we kind of covered this in the podcast originally, but it was very much Uncle Francis. I just need a movie, man. I just need a movie. I tried to get in.
Please.
I tried to get into the Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but they found out that I wasn't actually 18, so I got kicked off the lead role. So I just need something. I'm tired of doing this crap. Yeah. And it was also, I think, Rumblefish was the last movie that he did as Nicholas Coppola.
Oh yeah.
Oh. So were all these movies? Or no, you said that was...
It was recorded previously, so he recorded that with Coppola. After that, he changed his name to Cage, and I think...
How come, do you know why it took so long to release it?
Valley Girl?
Rumblefish.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because of Francis Ford Coppola. He's notorious for being...
I think...
just overzealous with the editing.
He takes a lot of time to edit his films. He edits all his films, I believe, or at least at that time. The other thing about Rumblefish that I think is kind of lost on us today is the simple fact that gangs don't look or operate this way anymore. It's a very dated idea.
They're not what?
I think at the time when Rumblefish was released, the thinking was, wow, this is, even though it's a surreal kind of film, it's also representative of how many young people live today. And so there was a sense of reality to it. Whereas when we watch it, it just kind of seems dated and, I don't know.
West Side Story.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Or tame. I would say tame, really, compared to the reality of gang life now as we know it.
Yeah.
But it's still a good movie. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne is in it. He's pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got some appearances.
Yeah.
He's in a couple Coppola films, I believe. And of course Dennis Hopper plays the crazy drunken dad, and he's just crazy good.
Bowser himself.
Bowser, yeah. That was the movie that he was like, man, I gotta do a video game movie after this.
And Hollywood's like, do you though?
Right. Yeah, Rumblefish is good. I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
And what Steve was talking about, the sound, there's a lot there's a lot of great audio samples that they use of just the passing of time. So I think like water falling and clocks ticking.
There are times that you can almost hear the silence echoing. I feel like, and I know that sounds like a weird idea, but I don't know. That's kind of the impression I got from listening to it as well.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, anyone else have anything to say about our winner?
Kevin's pissed.
Yeah.
I would just say it's.
What are you guys gonna get for winning?
Yeah. What do we get?
I mean, personally, I think that the Cage Lord should watch the winning film that he's selected.
Good idea.
And record his reactions.
I like that. Well, yeah. Here's what I propose. So this is kind of an announcement. This is our finale, of course, for season 1 of Late Night Cage Fight. The winner is Birdie. Birdie will go into our Nick Cage Hall of Fame, Cage of Fame, whatever you have it, and it will go on to compete with future films in our rankings. Additionally, we're going to have a post-finale episode. So this is going to be one more episode, not technically part of this round, but we're going to watch a modern movie. At first I was going to ask if people wanted to vote on which we should watch, but I think really it's hands down Mandy. We haven't watched Mandy. Everyone's talking about Mandy. We're going to watch Mandy. And what I'd like to do is invite Cage Lord Sean, before we talk about Mandy, to discuss his impression of Birdie.
Absolutely.
He can express to us whether he regrets his choices or not.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
But it's done. It's done.
What's done is done.
It's done.
Oh.
It is
Do
decided.
the bird walk. Remember that song?
Shout out to Soulja Boy, greatest rapper of our time.
He was pretty good.
You know, Booty Meat, probably the greatest hip hop classic ever. And I quote, "Girl, shake that booty meat, that booty girl, shake that booty meat,
Wow.
that meat girl."
I'm gonna have to get off here for a couple minutes because I'm crying. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. Wow, this was a very intense discussion. Thank you, Cage Lord Sean, for your help in helping us pick the number 1 Nick Cage film of the first 5. Yeah, and as I said, the rest of us, and also Cage Lord Sean, you're welcome to watch Mandy as well. I don't know if you've seen it before.
I have not, but I've actually been wanting to check it out, though.
So next episode,
good.
next episode, check out our review of Mandy. We'll talk through it, discuss it, and see kind of, we'll compare it to Nick Cage's early films, see how he's evolved or devolved.
Good. I'm glad we made it through the whole time without this happening.
Made it through what? Some lag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad we made it through this whole thing before we get to your lag.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I was lagging hardcore?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Well,
so I also wanted to thank our final sponsor as well. Perky Pet, maker of panoramic bird feeders. I just want to thank them for supporting Birdie in this first cage fight.
Is that a real company? So we're
check out
Perky Pet 312. They make a panoramic bird feeder.
Check out with the promo code Cage for they will donate $1 for every sale to the Birdie Foundation. to help
I'm just
veterans with bird-related PTSD.
I can't wait for these companies to tweet that they have no connection or affiliation with any Nicolas Cage podcast. All right, guys.
Or send us.
Any
Either
last
way.
words?
Any last words?
Bird.
Bird?
The bird
Well,
is the
this
word.
concludes.
I'd like to I'd like to give a shout out to my company, Dallas Riffle Media, marketing agency I work at, and also wanted to give a shout out to my buddies over at Squish Studios, independent game studio. Got some games on mobile and Steam. If you want to check them out, they're pretty cool. Squishstudios.net.
Cool. I wanted to hit the applause button, but for some reason it's muted. Cool. How about you, Steve? Want to give a shout out?
No, I think I don't know who to shout to.
I'd like to give a shout out to Shout, that spray stuff. That stuff is awesome. I mean, it cleans up. Investigators have not found anything yet. So, thank you, Shout.
Shout gets out more stains better.
If you'd like to watch any of the trailers from the movies that we've watched, and as we move forward with the rest of the shows, we'll be posting all the trailers on our YouTube page, Late Night Cage Fight.
Shout can't get rid of
From Messi Johnson Wax.
We'll also drop links in our Facebook group. Feel free to join.
What is it? Shadow Link or is it which link? Gerudo Link?
Fierce deity link.
Can we still do punishments? Is that still a thing?
I think it's a rule that after the winner has been decided, you have to wait until the next.
I will punish him myself.
That will be.
That would be helmet.
Yeah, that will be paid
some money.
content.
Mm-hmm.
50 Shades of Steve.
Sub on Patreon. You get Steve feet pics every month. For gold tier Patreon members.
Steve, you should sell your bath water.
Mm-hmm.
I should actually.
Yeah.
Could you get that through customs?
I don't know. You know the laws, Reese. What are the laws on customs? Can I send you my bathwater?
Yeah, you can. You can sell your bath water.
I've sent you a vial of my.
All right, we're done. Vile. Anytime anybody says vile, you know it's gonna be something
Anytime
gross.
I say vile.
Especially if you say vile. Thanks, guys, for joining me. The winner of the first cage fight, Birdie. Join us next time. We'll be discussing Mandy. I can't believe we haven't watched it yet. Everybody has, so it's kind of like, who are these guys talking about this, however many years later, but it'll be a good time. So, yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Catch us next time. We're Late Night Cage Fight.
Late Night Cage Fight.
Someone's going to steal the declaration.
I miss it.
The treasure of the Knights Templar is
It's like 11:30 there, right?
treasures.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Alright, I cut it.
That was very in depth. Wow.
It's totally winging it.
Yeah.
Hey, your shout out to Shout, Reese. That's kind of a dick move to say that. Because Shout is used to get your unfortunate brothers and sisters out of pants, out of whatever clothing they landed on.
Are you
What?
saying that it's the cleanup semen?
Yeah. What a dick thing to say. Like, why do you like shout?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You monetized again.
Are you glad I didn't say that
Yes.
when we were on the air?
Yes.
I thought about it.